Yes, it's difficult to read, I know. How to find a good psychiatrist. How to find a good psychiatrist. So I think the first thing you need to know is maybe you don't need a psychiatrist, right? I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice, right? I don't know all the details of your situation. And even if I did, I'm still not a doctor. So I still wouldn't know really. But what I can tell you is maybe you won't need medicine. Maybe it's not that severe. Maybe you get away without that. That would be awesome. You know, as a general rule, you want to be on as few medicines and as low doses as possible, where none would be ideal. If you can be healthy and be on none, then that's absolutely the way to go. So I'm not pushing that you should be on medicine if you don't need to be, but you know, the more severe this is, the more you might need to be. And the next question might be, well, hey Justin, well, how do I know if I need a psychiatrist? How do I know how severe something is that I can know if I need medicine or not? And I think that's a really good question. There's something that I learned early on called the GAF scale. GAF scale, and that stands for General Ability to Function, right? And it's on a scale of 0 to 100. And 100 is like, you're killing it, you're doing great, you're super healthy, you're super high functioning, you know, your life is going great. Not that your life is perfect, but things are going well, you're functioning very, very highly. Depression, anxiety, bipolar, other health issues, they're not really inhibiting you in any way at all. And then 0 would be like severely depressed, severely anxious, suicidal, can't function at all, can't work, can't sleep, can't eat, can't do anything, freaking out, in agony, in misery, right? So the closer you are to 100, and again, this isn't an exact science, right? But it's helpful. The closer you are to 100, probably the less likely you need any form of medicine, right? Because it's like you're doing great. Your general ability to function, GAF scale, right? General ability to function. Your ability to function is not really inhibited by your symptoms. It's not slowed down by the things that you're experiencing and going through. The closer you are to 0, where you're not able to function, you're not able to do things, you're not able to go to work or, you know, see friends or do things or show up to appointments or shower to get out of the house or all these things, you know, the more you can't function, the more medicine is probably going to be part of the equation. Again, not a doctor, maybe it's still not going to be, but this is something that can help you. So if you're trying to figure out, oh, do I need to see a psychiatrist? I don't really want to be on medicine. I agree, I understand. Nobody wants to be on medicine. These are very powerful things. You don't want to be on them if you don't have to, but the closer you are to a lower number, it might be part of the success equation for you, right? So now that you know that, that should give you some idea if you even need to see a psychiatrist or not. Once you decide if you even need to see them or not, you want to think about, okay, well, how do I go about selecting a good one? And guys, I think something very important to understand is that you are like the quarterback of your own team. You're like the quarterback of your own team. You've got all of these teammates, and it's almost like you have your own company and you're hiring people, right? So, and the game that you're playing, if you've got this severely, is basically like the fight of your life, right? You're playing for your life, you're fighting for your life, you're fighting to get on the other side of all this craziness and difficulty and have an amazing life, right? And so you really have to be a good quarterback. You have to be a good leader of your team, and you have to make good hires, right? So you're hiring people that are gonna help you fight for your life, you know, so you wanna pick some good ones, right? Assuming you want to live, which maybe part of you doesn't want to live, but really you just don't wanna be in pain anymore. You do wanna live. So you have to be a good quarterback. You have to do a good job leading your team. You have to make good hires. And one of those hires is a good psychiatrist, right? So then, okay, cool. You need a psychiatrist. You understand you got to pick a good one. You understand that's important. You understand, hey, if I've got a core member of my support team, my psychiatrist, and they suck, that's a problem, right? That's not good. That jeopardizes my chances of staying alive. Not good, right? So you want to pick a good one. So what should you look for in picking a good one? I would say the most ideal is if you can sort of network with friends and family and people in the community and figure out if anybody knows of a really, really good psychiatrist. That's probably the best way to find one. After that, Google reviews, right? Who's got the most reviews? I'm a big fan of looking at people's reviews. And then past that, let's see, I'm gonna delete, erase a little bit of this so I have a little more room to write. Let's see. Okay. I would say, do they care? I would say, do they listen? I would say, do you trust them? Do you like them? Do they seem honest and have integrity? Do they seem committed to you and committed to you getting better and believe that they can help you to do that? Committed. Do they ask good questions? Can you get a hold of them? Like, to make appointments. Some doctors, you can't really get a hold of them. So let's say communication. Right? So these are some of the things. I can tell you I've had a number of psychiatrists. Some have been amazing, some have been terrible. The ones who have been terrible were not really giving me much time in the appointment, and they weren't really listening. They weren't really paying attention. They weren't really asking questions. They were sort of just assuming that they knew the answer and had almost already decided, okay, more of this, more of this, more of this. And that ended up really screwing up my body and landing me back in the hospital again, that time for anxiety, because that doctor was putting me on more medicine that he thought was gonna make the anxiety go down, but really I was having a bad effect with this medicine or reaction. It was making my anxiety go up, and he wasn't really paying attention. So you don't want someone like that. I can tell you the psychiatrists that I've had that have been really good, they have these types of things. They care, they're honest, they're committed to you, they listen, they ask good questions. You know, they believe they can help you, they believe in you, they're devoted to you. You can get a hold of them at least to make appointments, right? So this is important. A psychiatrist is an important part of your team to help you get well. You are the quarterback, you are hiring people and managing them and directing them. So you want to pick the best psychiatrist you can possibly find, even if you're paying out of pocket, even if it's not covered by insurance. You know, it's important. I would still recommend it. Find the best psychiatrist you can find. So take a screenshot of this stuff if you need it, and we're gonna go on to the next point.